Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I just need to share my screen. So I just need that permission.
Let's see.
Hi, Victoria.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I sound like a horse. I'm so sorry.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. So I'm going to share my screen. I have a little presentation for you guys. Don't mind my 7 million tabs. We're all business people. We live in that world. Okay. So today I appreciate you all coming. My name is Emily. I'm officially Emily Williams now. I just got married. So I'm Emily Williams. And this is energetic scheduling. Break the shackles to your desk and get productive AF. So just a little bit about me. I think knowing who the hell is talking to you is super important when you're learning something. And so I'm a projector, which if you took your human design, that's a human design energy type. I own Full Circle Coaching. I was a fitness coach, but now I'm an energy and productivity coach, recovering stress addict. I put Virgo Queen on there for people who are into astrology. Being a Virgo is like all about organization and detail. And I didn't realize how that applied to productivity and energetics until I was like, holy shit, it's all just coming together kind of thing. Things about me though that I think matter the most. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I think anybody who knows me thinks that I was probably a cheerleader in high school. I was not, but I am your biggest cheerleader, your biggest hype woman. I would say that's my superpower, just believing in you when you don't believe in yourself. I'm a cat lady. My cat's name is Binks. He is my A1 day one. I love to collect rocks, and me and my husband love to camp, be outside, all of those beautiful things. So diving in, drop a hell yes if any of these are you. Okay. So completely overwhelmed and stressed by all the hats you have to wear and can't seem to get them streamlined. Or this was me literally forever, just constantly feeling defeated, having mental breakdowns, paralyzed by the tasks on my to-do list and just trying to keep up with life. Then just like not doing anything at all and just like crying on my office floor, right? That was that. This is a projector response, I think, but everybody experiences it differently. Constantly distracted by your phone, whether it's for clients, leads, follow-ups, or just to constantly check social media. Like, how many times are you on your phone during check-ins and you're like, how did this get in my hand? How did I get on Instagram again? Right. And it's like affecting your productivity and check-ins that should have taken an hour are now taking 2 hours. Or social media, constantly comparing yourself to other people's success. So you see that on social media. This is definitely something that I have always struggled with, especially as a beginning entrepreneur, just like, oh my God, she's doing this now. Oh my God, like I'm not doing enough. Oh my God, I suck. This all plays a role. And we got you guys can also, you don't have to mute yourself. You can always interrupt me if you want, since it's just a small group today. We can get a little more intimate with each other, but just constantly comparing yourself to social media. This is like all of these things are affected by your energetics, right? So a lot of times when we're business owners, we're all in that data, that science mind, that numbers thing, and we don't realize that all of these things play a role in how productive we are. Yes. So hard. Kelsey, yeah, I can relate. Like going from fitness space to a new space, I'm like, stay off of social media. Like it is literally going to kill you. Okay. So the goals of energetic scheduling are high productivity hours, guilt-free time off, and gain 20 hours back in your week. Okay. So with this today, and I'm going to give you guys a lot of tips today. We're going to go over the different energy types, but you know exactly when your windows of productivity are so that you can maximize your day and be done by 5. Hell, for a lot of us, we're like, let's get done by 3. I mean, I'm like not very productive or helpful, and I'm a projector, so we'll go over what that means. But as a projector, ideally, I should be done at like 1 p.m. Like that's really what projectors need. But overall, like being done by 5, that's a freaking win. Guilt-free time off, so that you can like actually be present with the friends and loved ones in your life and not be worried about work. Or we've all been at dinner, especially all of us new entrepreneurs, and your phone's like in your lap and it feels like it's like burning a hole in your freaking pocket because you're like, what if someone's messaging me right now and I'm not looking at the message? And then your partner or whoever you're with is like irritated because you can't stop looking at your phone. Like that's not guilt-free time off, right? And then just really gaining like 20 hours back in your week, right? You're getting more time back in your week so that you can crush the big projects you want to get done in your business, right? I think we all get lost in the sauce of all of our tasks. And then you're like, I've been meaning to create this amazing mini course for months and I can't get this shit done. Or if you're like a manifesting generator and you have these ideas of like, I want to create a hat business, or I want to start crocheting and selling it on Etsy. You have all these little hobbies that you want. You're like, I can't ever get these things done, and you're not feeling super fulfilled. So the goals, these are the goals with energetic scheduling. Any questions on any of that? No? Cool. Okay, we're going to get into the fun part first, which is the human design part. Okay, so there's 5 energy types. So if you took your test, go ahead and let me know what you got. You can say it, you can type it, whatever you feel comfortable with.
I'm the generator.
Okay, I got a generator. Kelsey's a manifesting generator. That makes
I
sense.
didn't take the test. I'm so sorry. I signed up
Don't
the test, like at the last second.
Don't apologize. Is it actually, it's not like a test, and
Okay.
so you can do it right now if you wanted to. It's called Jovian Archive. If you know your date of birth and the location you're born, you can go ahead and type that in now and you can look it up while we're going over it. Okay. No worries. Don't feel bad. So I'm a projector. There's manifestor, manifesting generator, generator, and reflector. Okay. So we're going to dive into projectors first. We have no projectors here except for me. But so if there's anyone watching this recording, projectors, they're about 20% of the population. Okay. So you don't operate like everyone else as a projector, and that's okay. Projectors are here to bring efficiency, and they don't have to be a hustler. We're like the strategic people, right? Like we use our time a little more strategically, and we help the manifesting generators and the generators manage their time a little bit better. The thing about projectors though, when you're creating your energetic schedule, you need more rest than most people, right? So you can work in short bursts, and then you need to be done. You need to go, you need to just stop, right? Have a hard stop time, get things done, and then move on. Burnout is really real for projectors. Everyone experiences burnout. Projectors usually experience it faster than other energy types. So you have to take days off. So for the projectors watching this, to get to a place eventually where you have half days and whole weekends off is going to be optimal for you, so that you'll be able to be more, you'll get more done in the working windows that you have. And as a projector, it's not that you're lazy. People think that you're lazy because you don't operate like everybody else. But the thing is, with projectors, you're going to get more done in that short amount of time that you allotted for yourself, because you did get yourself the rest, right? You guys know this, you're fitness coaches, right? You know, you give, those 2-minute rest breaks so that they can do the work in the compound lift that they need to do. The rest is crucial. So projectors just need a little more rest than the other energy types. Your main strategy as a projector is to wait for the invitation. So waiting for the invitation, how this applies to energetic scheduling is projectors usually, who are struggling with their schedule, put too much on their schedule because they're trying to be like generators and manifesting generators. And so you're putting yourself out there and like asking for all these things to be put on your schedule, or like putting tasks on there that you don't really need to be doing. Waiting for the invitation is saying you do your work, you showcase what you do in the time that you've set aside for yourself, and then you wait for people to ask you, and then you decide if this is for you or if this is not for you. Also, as women, we say yes to a lot of things. And so you'll see this theme in all of my talks, that people pleasing, no matter what energy type, is a massive problem with your schedule. And so for projectors, they say yes, or they initiate to get more tasks on their schedule because they're feeling like less than, because they're not working like everybody else. So really like trusting your process, knowing you get your shit done when you set the time aside, and then just wait for people to ask you for help, wait for people to be like, can you help me with this? And then decide where you're going to place that on your schedule. Does that make sense? Okay. The thing for a projector, the not self. So every energy type has the not self. What that means is basically like, if you're not in alignment, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, if you're just acting out of your conditioning and not your true self, you have your not self. So for projectors, that is bitterness, which I like, when I saw this and I'm a projector, I was like, no, I hate bitterness. Like, I am not a bitter person, whatever. But bitterness, it comes in small ways, right? So let's say you said yes to a bunch of tasks like, or you agreed to do a speaking. Let's say you agreed to do something like this, to speak to another company, or implementing group calls into your coaching, and then nobody shows up. You're a projector. Nobody shows up. You keep putting all this work into these presentations, and then you start to feel this bitterness of like, these damn clients don't appreciate me. They don't love what I'm trying to provide them. They don't see the value. That is bitterness. And now you're putting stuff and work on your schedule that you don't need to be doing. Okay. Any questions on that? Perfect. Okay. Reflectors. So this is the rarest type. Like 1% of the population is a reflector. Basically, reflectors are like a unicorn because they have like, they just absorb everybody's energy. They just are like all open. So if you're a reflector, you need to take time to honor your cycles. So as you're creating your energetic schedule, what that means is you need a lot of time, like 28 days, to really make a decision on what you want in your business, what you want in your day, because you have to feel it out. You got to move through the motions, really experience it. Your environment is everything. So your productivity is going to be affected by your environment. One thing with my reflectors as clients is they're like forcing themselves to work in environments that are just not helpful to them. So like they need to get this, and this also applies to everyone, but like getting into a coffee shop or working at a WeWork space or going to the library or creating that space in their home is going to help them be more productive. Taking time to make decisions. So for example, let's say you want to launch something in your business, but you don't know where that time is going to be, but you're feeling the pressure because you're comparing yourself on social media to all these other coaches out there launching things. You need to take your time to decide if that's right for you or not, right? That is the reflector kind of, that's how you're going to be most productive. That's how you're going to create your best energetic schedule. Reflectors also, which I think this is such a fun thing about reflectors, because reflectors sometimes think of themselves as negative because they're absorbing everybody else's energies that they don't really sometimes know their own. That's not true. It's kind of like a superpower. But that being said, for reflectors, you need to leave room in your week for play and surprise. So if you're working like a generator, a manifesting generator, it's not going to work out, right? Because you need to be like, okay, every Thursday I go to pottery class, right? You have playtime, you have a thing. And this is helpful for everyone, but for reflectors specifically, because that's how they get motivated. That's how they get like energized. So by implementing these things into their week, they're going to get more done when they allot that time to work. And their not self is disappointment. So most of the time, reflector disappointment comes from them inner themselves. Like they're thinking, they feel like, I didn't get all of this done. I'm disappointed in myself. But the thing is, reflectors, just like projectors, they don't really operate like manifesting generators and generators. And so they have to have realistic expectation for themselves on creating that schedule. So as you're creating your energetic schedule, honor who you are. And this applies to everybody, like honor who you are and then use that to your advantage, because energetic schedule is to support you, not the other way. Or like you're not supporting the schedule. The schedule is there as a tool to help support you live your most fulfilling life. Make sense? Cool. Okay. We don't have any manifestors. So I guess it's good we're getting all of these out of the way. So we can get to what you guys have. So manifestors are, when a manifestor enters the room, because they take initiative on the things that they want. They're like the natural born head honcho leaders. They just have like, they take all the initiative. They have massive, massive energy. And manifestors, they get things done fast. They're like the cheetah, right? So the projector would be like I'm like, what do I want to compare myself to? But like an animal that like takes its sweet ass time and like it's efficient and like, whatever. A manifestor is like a cheetah. It's like gets things done in quick bursts, and then they need a break, right? So time blocking is going to be the most effective for a manifestor, but they need to take frequent breaks throughout the day. So really implementing breaks into their schedule. And then the thing is though, manifestors, they have a lot of impulses, right? They have ideas. They're like quick. They're like, I want to do this. I'm going to initiate this. I'm going to start this project. I'm going to do this thing. But if you are on a team, I'm going to encourage you as a manifestor to let those around you know, because what a manifestor can do is put too much on their schedule. And then their team could be like, this is not effective. This is not efficient. Like this isn't helping the mission of the team, right? So manifestors, talk to your team before you start plugging things in. but so this can be conflicting. You're like, okay, but you're saying take initiative, but talk to your team, but don't wait before taking action. That what I mean by that, the don't wait before taking action is like when you're creating your schedule, right? So when you're making that schedule, think about the things you want to take action on first and just get those done. Crank it out, because as a manifester, you're going to feel very satisfied. You're going to feel very fulfilled because you got all these things done. But manifestors need a lot of breaks as well. So they need hard stop times. They also need time off. Okay. So as a manifesting generator, Kelsey's manifesting generator. So like manifesting generators have a mix of manifestor and generator into one. So they have a little bit of both. So manifestor can apply if you're a manifesting generator to this, because you can get a lot done and you can move quickly, but sometimes your impulses get in the way, and your not self is anger. So for manifesting generators, they're not self. Okay, perfect. Okay, 2 manifesting generators. So your not self is anger, is one of your not selves as a manifesting generator. You're a mix. And so when you start feeling anger, like, what the hell? Why isn't this happening? Blah, 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 blah. I told you this, you're not doing it. That's when you know, like, you didn't follow your strategy correctly. So as a manifestor, your strategy is to inform, which also applies to manifesting generators. That's why we let people know before we do something. Make sense? He is a manifestor. He is a manifestor? That's so funny.
Yeah, I was listening to that going, oh, that sounds just like my husband. Oh, yep, he sure is.
It sure is. That's so funny. My husband's a manifesting generator, and as a projector, it's like trying to keep up with like a squirrel. Like I'm always like, I'll be in the tub. I will be in the tub for the next 3 hours. You do your like 16 hobbies, right? So like manifestors and like manifesting generators, which is next, they have so many ideas. They have so many things they want to do, and they want to get them all done. And so for them to make a schedule that makes the most sense for them, they have to be strategic. That's why time blocking is so efficient, or having deadlines and things of that nature, because they're like, I got it done. I'm done. I'm on to the next thing. I got things to do. I got things to accomplish. And so just talking, that's why talking to who's involved in this process with you is so important, because they can give you another perspective, or let you know, hey, like before we dive into this, like I was already thinking about this. Okay. Okay. So manifesting generators. So man-gens, you'll hear them, like if you follow any pages, they'll call them man-gens, call you man-gens and things like that. But manifesting generals are already efficient. You have the mix of generator and the mix of manifestor. So generators, and we'll get to generators, but they're like the workhorse. They get a lot, they just have a lot of energy. They can get a lot of things done. So as a manifesting generator, you have a combination of both, like a lot of energy. And that doesn't mean like, when I say a lot of energy, that doesn't necessarily mean like you're a super bubbly, extroverted person. That's not really like, doesn't apply here. What I mean by energy is like the energy you have throughout the day. Like it's a constant energy. So generators, they have like a lot of energy, meaning they can go for a long time. Man-gens, you have that mix of both, which makes you really efficient. The thing that's important for a manifesting generator when you're creating your schedule is you always need to have a midweek check-in. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, kind of thing, right? So like I encourage like midweek, literally like Wednesday, check yourself. Like, okay, this was the tasks that I said I was doing this week. How far away from those tasks have I gotten? What am I actually feeling about those tasks? Because it's important for a manifesting generator to constantly ask themselves, does this feel right for me? So manifesting generators struggle a lot. I mean, probably the most with people pleasing because of all the energy you have. And then you notice, and generators as well, you're in this. Manifestors don't really have this immense people pleasing as generators and man-gens, because people feel your energy and they're like, wow, you got that done for me. Thank you so much. Can you also do this? Right. And then, or if like a client is like constantly asking you for help, or constantly like leaning on you or needing that extra hand holding, it's because you have so much energy to give that they're like sampling that, and they're like almost like, I want more, right? So you have to be really good with your boundaries, and you can use your schedule to help you with that. Your to-do list as a manifesting generator is your anchor, because you have ideas, because you have all these things you want to do, because you're like, well, I can keep going. How many times have you made a to-do list for the day and it's like 5 things, and then it's like 4 o'clock and you're like, well, I could also do this and this and this and this and this. That's your generator side being like, we can get all the shit done. But manifesting generator, boundaries are really important because you, like the manifester, need that rest. Okay. You said, Victoria said this is hitting home for her. That's awesome. Okay. Tell me about it.
Sorry, my voice
No.
is terrible.
Oh, so sorry. I forgot.
But I think so for me, it's like I also have 3 kids. So I always try to like tack on as much as I can in my day. And then I'll like complete all my tasks and I'm like, okay, well, I can keep going. But then, like you said, there will come a time where I'm like, I'm burnt out as fuck. So I need to like set those boundaries. Like, okay, do I actually need to get like 10 more things done when I already completed my to-do list for the day to avoid the burnout?
Yes. And like, especially like with kids too, right? You have, and we all have like our work to-do list and then our home to-do list. But then with kids, like I have a client who has 2 young ones and she's like, well, I have my to-do list, their to-do list, and my work to-do list, and my, like all these lists. And so when we get to scheduling, this will be helpful, but just something to know for yourself is like, managing that appropriately and knowing like these tasks cause me the most drainage and I need to allot them to specific times that make the most sense, because it's not that you can't get them done, because you have the capacity to. And you might have been, you manifesting generators, or a lot of people are like, I like the more the better. Like I almost thrive under that pressure. I can get it all done. Like, I love the expectations. But then if you get frustrated and angry with something, that's a not self. That's your cue. I'm doing something inefficiently here. I'm doing something that's not effective or in alignment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And especially what you said too about like if you have clients that are like, they can kind of feed off of that energy. Cause I've kind of noticed that just recently where it's like they know that I don't know, like I'm always available, obviously, and they could just keep asking and taking and wanting more. And it sounds bad to say that you get frustrated, but it's almost like I sometimes feel like I am being taken advantage of.
Yeah. And that frustration is your body saying, like, hey, don't think of these things as bad. They're signals. When you feel you're not self, it's literally your body saying, ma'am, hey, hello. We don't like this. This is not helpful for us. And so like, this is why we need boundaries. And this is why we have to understand our energy, because when you understand your energy, it's like unlocking, I swear to God, guys, like it's been like it is like unlocking something that you didn't realize, like there was so much power there. So when you create those boundaries, because your clients do love you, Victoria, they're like, she has all the energy, she has all the answers, she gives me what I need. And it's not like like they don't probably realize they're taking advantage of you, but it's your job to be like, all right, 6 p.m. is my phone cutoff time. If you text me after 6 p.m., like that's a tomorrow problem, right? And like learning those things, because that's going to help you feel less frustrated and angry. Because when you're feeling your not self emotions, you guys are like siphoning your energy, right? And everyone has a limit, even generators, right? Like everyone has a limit. And so that's where burnout can occur. Any other questions on Mangen or comments? No? Okay, cool. Okay, generators. So generators are the largest percentage of the population. They're like, it's like 40% or something like that, like a large amount. And the reasoning for this is generators, like I said, they're like the worker bees. They get shit done. They love the things that they love, and they give all to those things. And my biggest thing is like, embrace your endurance as a generator. Know that you have the endurance to get things done. Instead of like rushing yourself to do it, you have the capacity to get the things done you want to get done. Just like a mangen, for generators, I also encourage blocking off your day in chunks so that you have those strategic breaks, and also allows for you to check in with yourself, because generators, all of us experience burnout. Generators though won't take breaks sometimes because they can just keep going. They get like immersed in a task, and then it's like 3 hours later, they're like, oh no, I was supposed to move on to this other task, and I got so blocked into this task. So generators can usually use time blocking really well. Mangens, sometimes manifestors, mangens, they can sometimes struggle with the time blocking. Projectors hate time. Do not put me on a time blocking schedule. Like I hate it. But generators, sometimes because you have some centers that are colored in, you have the ability to use those time blocking time deadlines essentially as pressure to get that thing done in that time and then move on to the next task. Generators need to only say yes to things that light you up. So just like a man gen, you struggle with people pleasing usually. And so you say, yes, I'll get on another Zoom call with you. Yes, I'll do an extra check-in. Yes, all these yeses, because you see how someone feels when you say yes, because they're tasting your energy and what you're giving them. So then you just keep putting more on your plate. But you may be saying yes to things that don't actually light you up. So the key for a generator is to only do things that really get you excited, right? And really like get you hyped up, because that's going to help you be less frustrated, right? And feel less disconnected. The best way, and especially for mangens and generators, using a lot of yes, no questions in your day. So coffee or tea, yes or no? Do I want to wear leggings today or jeans today? Start paying attention to what you say yes and no to naturally, and you'll be able to make better decisions on your schedule because you'll know your yes and no's better. So that's going to help you with putting things in certain places. Mangens and generators need my husband, I just say a lot of either or questions, like all the time, either this or that. He's like, that, this or that. He's like, that. That just helps them process. With mangen generators, when you're like asking yourself, well, what should I do? And it's not really like clear the options, you can get frustrated, right? So practice responding to things in your day. And then your not self is frustration. So anytime you're getting frustrated with anything, frustration is hard sometimes for women because we use frustration as a way to describe anger, because we're like, you're not supposed to be angry as a woman, like God forbid you were ever angry. So frustration can sometimes be hard. So it's really important just to get used to like what that frustration looks like. So for example, like if you're doing something, you're getting frustrated and you start crying, you're like, why the hell am I crying right now? Right? That could be frustration coming out for you. So just understanding when your frustration is presenting itself, especially for a generator, because when you're creating that schedule, we want to make sure that it is in alignment with the things that are going to light you up. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions on that? Cool. Okay, so now we've talked about your energy types. We're going to dive into like, how the hell do you create an energetic schedule? Okay, like cool, love it. So fun to learn about the energy type. How do I apply it to real life? Which I think human design sometimes struggles with, like, how can you apply this to your life? So I want you to take the big takeaways that you heard when I presented your energy type and use them to this energetic scheduling. Okay. So before I start, what's everybody's like biggest hiccup on their schedule?
I feel like mine is doing things that are unnecessary to do at a certain time and kind of like pushing other things that I should be focusing on to the side. Example, could have used this morning to do check-ins, but I decided to program some workouts instead because I needed to get that done at some point, but really the check-ins like should have been first. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. So understanding, like working on priority tasks and like knowing how to prioritize things. Okay. Anybody else?
To be honest, I don't have a schedule yet.
Okay, that's okay.
Figuring out life right now. Kelsey knows I just went through a big move, so everything's kind of like all over the place. I'm just going with the flow.
Okay.
I think for me, mine is because I get things done so quickly. Like I'm just like, I nail it out. And then like, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, I should do more because it's 2 p.m. and the workday doesn't stop now. I start work at 10. So I'm like, what else can I find to do? Even if it's not something for that day. Like I kind of try to hold myself to specific check-in days. And if I finish check-ins early, I'm like, there's surely something else I can find to do. And sometimes I just need to like chill and enjoy life because that's like my goal.
Yeah. Okay. So like, and that's a man gen. That's definitely a man manifesting.
I was gonna say, I feel like when I am on routine, I'm very much like that. And I'm that person that like, if I don't have anything to do for work, I'll go and like deep clean my couch for no reason.
That's a manifesting generator thing, like for sure.
I
You're
wish
like,
I had that
oh,
cleaning gene.
ooh, wow, this closet needs to be done. Right?
Yeah,
When
that's
really
me.
we're like, I'm supposed to go to a coffee shop and read a book today, and now I'm knee deep in this closet, or like creating a whole new spreadsheet for my business that just I pulled out of my ass. So that makes sense. So cool. These are all really helpful. So I'll try to put those into like what we're talking about with each step here. So how to start your energetic schedule. So you got to take inventory of your current life. You can do a time study. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can just look at your Google Calendar. I use a Google Calendar and a planner. So do whatever works best for you. Start there. You want to, just like your clients, right? You get a new client, you make them track their macros for 2 weeks before you give them macros so you can see what they got going on. It's the same exact thing. It's like, you got to know what you're working with before you can make something, right? So start there. And then I also want you to pick a day of the week. I don't care what day it is. Pick a day to look at what's going to happen next week. So as business owners, as coaches, right? This is kind of that, I'm not a masculine and femininity coach, but like that healthy masculine energy, right? Like being strategic so that you can support your energy for the upcoming week. So pick a day. So do a time study and then pick a day to look at the next week. So for example, you work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes Saturdays. You start to see that Monday and Wednesday are your longest days of work. So maybe you start using Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays to do most of your business work. This is how this helps, right? So by doing the inventory, you see what days are the most jam-packed, and then you can see what the other days look like. And now you can apply some of the energetic scheduling to that. So that's the first place I would encourage you to start for all of you guys, based on what you said. So when you pick a day to schedule every week, this means looking ahead at your week and writing down exactly what you're going to do each day. So I use Saturdays. I've always used Saturdays. It just works for me. You can use whatever day you want. But what days do you have heavier calls, right? What days are most of your clients turning in their check-ins? Do you have meetings you have to attend to? Do your kids have soccer on Tuesday through Thursday? Like, what days is there just a lot going on naturally? So I'm not talking about little tasks like you're creating whatever content or you're, making a free resource. I'm saying, like, what are some things that are just like already logged into the schedule already? Does that make sense? Okay. So then what you're going to do is, and my man gens and generators will like this because they usually like having the tasks set out. Make a power list. Okay. A power list is just essentially all the things that need to get done. So what are the big things that need to get done this week? Right. So let's say for business, you're in a business course, you have to do modules, you got to create a Facebook group, you had homework assigned from your coach. Maybe you have sales calls coming up. You need to follow up, make sure all those people are coming. Those are going to be like your business tasks. Then you have your like personal stuff you got to do, laundry, call your mom, set a doctor's appointment, right? All these little things that can pile up and make you feel like overwhelmed in your week. And you're like, how am I supposed to get all this done? How the hell am I supposed to go to the doctor's appointment when I got like 5 sales calls on Thursday and I got to follow up with all these people, right? And that's where we get that, like, I'm wearing all the hats and I don't know how to move through it. And so make a list. Now, caveat to the list, especially for man gens and generators, do not make your list 10 pages long. You can come up with more, but it doesn't mean you have to. Focus on what needs to get done this week. And something that can be really helpful is like, think about the whole month. What is everything you'd like, the big tasks you'd like to get done for the month, and then break it down into weeks, right? So we're kind of going from weekly to daily, but like if you have a lot of things that need to get done in a month, you can apply this monthly as well. So I would say keep it to like 7, maybe 10 things, 7 to 10 things. Okay. Those are going to be on your power list. Each day, place something on the power list on a specific day that it would make sense to get that done. So what I mean by that is it doesn't make sense on the day that you have 6 sales calls booked to also do client check-ins. That makes no sense. That you're literally setting yourself up for like frustration, irritation, drainage, all the things, right? And so we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but just, you're going to take each thing from the list and place it on a day that makes the most sense based on your energy type. Okay. All right. So then you're going to have a daily power list. Okay. So I encourage you, most of your clients are business owners, right, Kelsey? Yeah. But Victoria, I know you're Emma's AC. I follow you. Sorry. Emma's one of my best friends, so I kind of knew who you were. But either way, even for ACs or assistant coaches, you can use this same structure, right? So like your sales could be like when you get a new client, right? Like Emma signs a new client, you get that new client, right? You have that onboarding, that could be your sales category, whatever the case may be. But Powerless, you can then set your day up into 3 categories: sales, marketing, client delivery, right? So how many DMs? Do you have sales calls that day? Do you have follow-ups? Are you posting on your social media that day? Are you batching content that day? Right? Do you have check-ins that day? So you're creating like a daily power list of one of these 3 things. Does that make sense? Any questions so far?
So basically, you're taking the broad things on your big power list of like the week and putting those on the days of things you can get done.
Correct. So,
okay.
No, go ahead.
And then on those days, there might be like smaller things that you're also including on there.
Right. So like, think of it this way, right? So just to put it in like a fitness perspective, we're going to say for your clients, their big thing on their fitness journey is their check-in day and then getting their workouts in, right? So if they're working out 4 days a week and they know they're working out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, they got to turn their check-in into you on Sunday. The small thing that they need to make sure they're doing every day is tracking their macros, right? And then their meal prep might be a bigger day, but they're like, you know what? I can't meal prep on the days that I work out. And I know that's on Thursday. So I'm going to meal prep on Saturday, right? So like it's being strategic about where the things go based on the big things. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like getting their steps in, that's happening every day, no matter what, right? You're probably on your story every day, no matter what. That's like a low energy task is how I deem it. And then like big things are high energy. So everybody's different. Man-gen generators usually don't get too drained by a ton of Zoom calls or things like that. Projectors, like I am struggling after like 5 Zoom calls. Like it is kicking my ass, right? So you need to become self-aware of what drains you, what doesn't drain you. So for example, if you have, let's say you have 3 sales calls booked today, you have 2 sales calls booked tomorrow, and then you don't have any sales calls Friday or Saturday. What's today's Tuesday? It doesn't matter. Either way, right? So maybe on Friday and Saturday, that's when you do some other tasks. Like maybe on your power list, you were like, I need to work on this nurture sequence for my email. You're not going to do that on a day you have sales calls. That is a bad use of your time, right? So that's kind of where I'm going with like the weekly power list and the daily. So for example, I'm missing a slide. So I apologize for that. This slide was supposed to be about theming your days. So to theme your days, theming your days is how you can help with this. So for example, I always do Monday and Tuesday are client delivery days. It's when I write all my training protocols. It's when I do all my client check-ins. I know that that's what's happening that day. So you're setting expectations for your week. Now, as a manifesting generator, you can add other shit on there. Maybe on client delivery days, you're like, I wanted to crank out 2 free resources. I wanted to run a poll in my group chat. I wanted to get all these things done that were in the client realm. This helps with the power list and the daily power list because it's kind of like setting the tone for those days, right? Now, as a one-woman show business owner, you're like, okay, cool. Like those are client delivery days, but I also still need to do sales. I need to do marketing. So you're knowing most of your energy is going to client delivery, check-ins, writing workouts, things like that. So maybe on your story, it's all very simple, like posts, right? You're not talking a lot or you're not going live. You poured your energy into the bigger task for today. And then these are the smaller tasks. And then when you're planning out your sales calls, you're using your sales call schedule strategically. So, Monday and Tuesday is client delivery stuff. I don't have time for sales calls. I may do some follow-ups, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's when I'm doing all of my sales calls. Does that make sense? So for example, for myself, I do client delivery Monday, Tuesday. I also work for another company. So I do stuff for them half day Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Thursday is like a half day for them as well, because by Thursday, I have 3 brain cells left. I have nothing. I'm done. I'm literally so done. It's not like so by Thursday, I take a break Thursday. I may do like a lot of reading or studying because that's something like that's in my chart. Like that's just something part of who I am. So if you wanted to dive deeper in human design, like I could look at your chart for you guys and give you more details about those things. But for when you're so by Thursday, and then Saturdays I'm recharged because I rest Thursday and Friday, and Saturdays when I do all my content creation. I write emails, I make all my posts for the next week, right? So I've learned how my energy flows through the week, and then I theme it accordingly. Does that make sense? Any questions?
I do. As a generator who has ample amounts of energy, like I feel like I could work 12-hour days and be fine.
Yeah.
Does that just kind of mean as I'm like looking at my energy throughout the week that I don't necessarily need to take that so much into account? Like just based, I would do something more based on these are the days that I have client check-ins. These are the days that, my son goes to daycare. So I have longer time slots. Because I feel like, I feel like I have so much energy and can give so much energy. And maybe that's just, because I haven't looked or really paid attention a lot to my energy throughout the week. But is that something that you would see in a generator of like, they do have downtime, or like there are times in the week that they are less productive or have less energy?
Yes. So, and this also kind of, I would say, applies to Victoria and Kelsey, how they were saying they can add things on to their week, to their day. So as a generator, and man gens are a mix of manifestor and generator. So just a reminder there, your like signature, each energy type has a signature. And I didn't dive into this because it's very, human design is very in depth. So I didn't want to like overwhelm you guys with all the things, but your signature thing of like, remember I said the not self is things like out of alignment, not well. Your signature is satisfaction. So at the end of the day, if you're feeling satisfied, you're done. So you pull all of your energy from your sacral. Okay. So you just have this constant flow of energy coming in from your sacral center. You drain that sacral center throughout the day, working super, super hard. You sleep and you wake up and it's refilled. Now, through conditioning, you can ignore that and you can say, I can keep going. It's like burning the candle at both ends. And so when you're constantly like, well, I could keep going, I could keep going, I could keep going, that's where I would encourage you being like, is my work satisfying me? And why do I feel like I must continue working to feel this satisfaction? So that's kind of like a deeper look into yourself. And so what I would encourage you to do is, because like you said, you have these Tuesday and Thursdays where you're like, I got to crank it out. Like I got to get all these things done because my son's at daycare and this is my time, right? To work, right? That's what you said, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So knowing those days you do have a lot of energy to work and you have to maximize on your time. Yeah, you would tap into that and you would try to strategically plan those days to get as much done as possible. On the other days is where I would put like your lower energy tasks. So if that, like, for example, creating social media content is low energy for me. It doesn't take a lot. So I would put it on those other days, but maybe it takes a lot for you. So I would plan different things on those days. So pay attention to what drains you, what doesn't drain you. Use that yes, no thinking of like, okay, it's important because all of us have conditioning that tells us that we should do things. For example, like as a projector, that's why I said I was a recovering stress addict. I've operated most of my life as a generator. And wouldn't understand why I was having mental breakdowns like every week. I was a hot mess. Hot mess. And then I would drink a ton of alcohol and then I'd feel like shit. Like it was this horrible cycle. And so we all have this conditioning, just like, not saying you guys know you best, but like if you're constant, like I need to add things on my schedule, that comes from like a conditioning of like, I must continue. I must, and usually it's important to say like, what could I fill this time with? Right. I've always wanted to paint. I've always wanted to just go to the park. I used to have this thing where I talked to my therapist where I would be like, the girl who's just like at the coffee shop, like on a Tuesday, just like reading her book, living her best life, not a care in the world. Like, how do I be her? And like, she would be like, do you just like the idea of her? Or you actually want that? Right. And so with generator, with what you're saying, Francesca, I would encourage, if you were my one-on-one client, I would encourage you to really sit down and notice, am I forcing this because I can, because that's what I've always done? Or is this really something that lights me up and I want to give it my all, right? We've all had those moments when we're in the flow and we're like, we can't stop. Like, this is so exciting. Like, this is so fun. I'm hyped about it. That is different than just like powering through and working, right? Does that make sense?
It does. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's like about asking yourself the right questions to make you the most productive.
Yes. And like with my one-on-one clients, when we're finding your most productive windows, I can't tell, like, the secret is I can't tell you your most productive windows. You report back to me saying like, okay, so at 10 o'clock, I got like 3 things knocked out on my to-do list and I feel good. I feel satisfied. I have this whole afternoon. If you were like, should I add more? And I would be like, okay, but like, why? You got everything done. You said you wanted to get done. Tomorrow you have a to-do list. You became an entrepreneur and an assistant coach for a reason, right? We all like for free time, for flexibility to like, I don't know about you. Like, I just want to be able to like leave at the half of a day and go hiking for the rest of the day and like hang out with a friend, right? But conditioning and I said time blocking works for generators, but like a lot of people use time blocking because they're like, I have to work till 5, but like we don't have to. There's no rules here. And so energetic scheduling gives you that freedom because you know yourself so well. You know your productivity hours. You know when you put something on your to-do list that it will get done at that time, and then you will feel good afterwards, right? Because you planned it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any other questions? No, you guys liking it so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
My other biggest tip, and I didn't put a slide on this, but business owners really struggle with this, but I like me and Kelsey are in a program that like has been so life-changing to help with some of these things, but just like taking care of your energy in the super small ways. So, I'm going to send Kelsey some links for like, I have an energetic ladies group chat. It's just a free chat. We do like mini challenges and different like small ways to protect your energy. But basically like morning anchors and putting your damn phone away at a certain time, like put that bad boy on do not disturb, and, making sure that you're actually like nourishing your energy. And nourishing your energy is all the ways: nutrition, fitness, walks, but it's also like reading a fantasy book because you bloody want to, right? It's making a coffee date weekly with one of your best friends. It's all these things, like getting creative. If you've always wanted to like paint or crochet or whatever the hell you wanted to do, like incorporating those things to your life, especially like managers and generators, usually guys are like, oh, that looks fun. I want to do that. That lights me up. That gets excited. Right. And like feeding into those things, because the more that you do that, the more you're going to be able to understand your energy more. And even practices like journaling or praying or meditation, breath work, those obviously all help as well. Okay. Those are just like super important pieces to this whole thing, because we can use our schedules all day, but if we're not taking care of ourselves energetically, it's not going to work. Okay. All right. So I do have, a discount. Do you have a question, Victoria? Was that a hand? Oh, okay. So I do have mini sessions for energetic scheduling. So what to expect? We do like a 1 hour one-on-one energetic audit. We look over your specific schedule. You get your own custom energetic schedule after. We do about 2 custom energetic schedule audits. So like these 3 one-on-one hour calls are kind of spaced out so we can practice this, make edits, practice this, make edits. And then you have access to me to ask questions, so that we can create together your energetic schedule that makes the most sense. And then I'll teach you how to pivot on your own. Like, how do I make adjustments when life changes or my business changes? Giving you the tools to make those changes, and so that you can have the most efficient schedule as possible. So this is usually about $1,500. I am running a Black Friday sale. So it's gonna be $595 for the C3C sister, C3 or 3C. How do you say it?
C3.
C3. C3 sister friends. So you'll hear me, if you listen to my podcast or anything, I say sister friends all the time. So y'all are now my sister friends. And plus all of the C3 sister friends are going to get an additional schedule audit. So the 3 session usually comes with 2. I'll give you 3. And I'll send the link over to Kels, as well as you can follow me on Instagram at EmmyFit, as well as join my Energetic Ladies WhatsApp chat. We're actually about to run a challenge, a 30-day break up with your phone challenge to create boundaries around your cell phone. So that's starting up. And then I also have a weekly newsletter for freebies. So I'll get Kelsey all of those links if you guys are interested.
Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so good.
Thanks.
Yeah, you made me want to learn so much more about human design.
Yes, I know. I'm going to be soon doing human design sessions, but I've just been practicing on all my friends before I put it out in the world.
Love that.
Cool. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
so
This was
much.
fun.
This was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kelsey.
Of course. I'll get all that stuff added to the resource library here shortly too.
Cool. All right. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.